Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop, and welcome back to my little series on cleaning up and setting up my Bridgeport. It's been a little while. So part one I shot about a year ago, and the Bridgeport's been working well enough for me that I haven't gotten around to finishing things up because the next sort of bigger step for this is going to be to disassemble the table area and maybe dig into some things that would be a little more complicated to put back together should I need to wait for a part or something like that. I have no work in the near future for this machine, so I feel fine with taking it apart now, and hopefully there'll be nothing I don't have to worry about too much. So if you missed it last time, we basically cleaned up the head because this thing has been in service for a long time and it's past life and it is fairly dirty. So the nice thing about the head being cleaned up is I can touch it and my hands don't get dirty. That's not true of the rest of the machine, so we're going to continue on down through the ram, the column, and the base, and start pulling the table and see what's going on in there. So I'm going to jump into it, I guess. I'm going to pull everything off the table, clear out all the little pieces of stuff and tooling and everything that's still out here, and then pull this thing back away from the wall. The other thing that I'm excited for with this sort of finale, or working towards the finale, is getting this machine off of these gas pipes that I have to roll it around, and that should help it be a lot more stable too when I'm actually using it. So let's take a quick look at what I want to get into. So everything from here forward on the head is all clean and ready to go. So I have the ram adapter, the ram, the turret, and the column that still have to be cleaned up as sort of this main area through here. And one of the biggest areas is going to be up in here underneath, where there is chips and like shmoo and stuff stuck on here to the bottom side. You can see there's chips in here that need to be cleaned up as well. And on this side, at least, I have the collet rack, which I'll pull off and clean as well. And then we'll get into the real stuff. Gross table. So this first part should go pretty quickly. I've got some degreaser here ready to go. I'm going to get to scrubbing, and we'll get this thing cleaned up and looking a lot better. A lot of people last time asked if I was going to paint the machine, and I am not. The only way that I would want to paint this is if I completely disassembled everything and was able to paint all the parts individually. That's the only way I'd be happy with an actual paint job, rather than trying to mask things off and make it, I don't know, it seems a lot more difficult without as great results to go ahead and paint it while it's all assembled like this. And I actually don't really mind the whole sort of worn through paint look. At least on the head it looks pretty good. On the, I guess the main body of the machine still looks kind of gross right now because you have a lot of like the grease and discoloration from that mixing in with the color of the paint, which I think makes it look a lot worse. The head looked just like that before, but I think the head looks a lot better now that the paint can actually kind of, stand on its own versus being covered and masked and gross looking from all of the cutting fluid and grease and debris that's been sitting on it for all these years. So I'm gonna let that soak in there for a while. It is on there real good, and start working my way back here. And I know last time a lot of people were interested in seeing how all these things work and what all this thing can do. So as I get back into the ram and the turret, this lever here will move the head in and out, so you can position the head in whatever position you want relative to the column. And then in a second I'll loosen these bolts, and that'll allow the whole head to pivot as well. So I'm actually just going to work through here and pull all of these bolts out one by one so I can clean the bolt heads as well as the little area where the bolt is sitting, since those are pretty filthy. Okay, so let's try the turret. So if I loosen these two bolts that are on this side, so the symmetrical ones. Oh boy, that's on there. Real good. That will allow the whole turret, or the whole top section here, to rotate. So if you wanted to move the head to be like over here somewhere for some reason, you could do that. Let's see, where can I grab? Oh boy. I'm guessing this hasn't been moved. Like ever. There it goes. So you can turn the head to whatever position you want. You also have a mount back here for auxiliary heads if you have one of those. Ugh, that is on there. So that's kind of cool. Ugh. Yeah, that's loosening up a little bit. I'm guessing this hasn't moved for a long time. So I'm actually going to spin it this way so I can get to that side a little bit easier. I'm going to hit this. It's like I planned that, which I didn't. There. Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier. I can get over here without going in there with the chainsaws. So the underside is looking a little bit better, but it's still got a little ways to go, I think. And I have to get more up in here, so I think I'm going to actually tip the head back a bit to make getting in there just a little bit easier. So the head tips in this direction as well as, you know, it turns. And to do that, there's a couple of lock bolts over here that lock the head in position. Oh. Just loose. And I can turn this guy here to actually pivot the head, or nod it. Actually, we're gonna go the other way, actually. Want to nod back? Nope, that's the wrong way still. There we go. This away. Okay, so that's a little more access, and yeah, that's pretty gross. Now there's still a lot of chips caught up in here, so I'm just going to use a magnet to try and grab whatever I can from in here. Yeah, it's quite a bit. Okay, so I think it's probably gonna be good enough for now. I'll keep working at it as I continue along, but it's a lot better. It's much less fuzzy than it used to be, although it still is full of a bunch of junk. So next I'm gonna start working into this area here, and before I get going, I want to just check out the power feeds. If you don't recall, the guy that I bought this from said that it was provided over voltage, so something's probably fried. I'm a fan of fixing something easy and obvious first, and that is the fuse in here, which is definitely blown. So I ordered some new ones. We'll see if that magically fixes it. How cool would that be? It's just the fuse is broken, which would be really cool. All right, let's put that in there and plug this guy in. Here we go. That's not quite electro boom territory, but you get a little bit of a boom. So yeah, something else is going on if it's just going to blow the fuse like that. So at least I know that much. It's going to be a lot easier to work on this thing pulled off the machine. So I think as I'm getting this table pulled off of here, I'll actually take the power feed off of here, as well as the one down here on the Y-axis. I guess we can check that one too. I think there's a fuse somewhere. Maybe it doesn't have a fuse. I don't know. I'll look at it later. But at least this big one, I'm going to put on the workbench, and I can dig into it in a little more convenient position. I would like to fix the X-axis power feed because I like this kind of vintage style versus the servo one. This just looks a lot cooler. Plus it got the big old motor sticking out the back there. So it'd be cool if I can fix it. We'll pull it off. I guess we'll look at it. I'm going to go get hex wrenches and just start pulling stuff off. So this isn't coming off because the part in here where the hand wheel actually grabs onto is all mushed over and is getting caught there. So I'm gonna grind that back a little bit so I can actually remove that ring. Aha. Yeah. Okay. There we go. We're in, sort of. This is a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting that to be like super heavy. Not heavy at all. So to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to turn this thing a bit. Okay, let's do this side. Pretty much the same thing. You got the handle assembly thing, the bushing. Don't you love it when like in all their other repair videos they're like, oh, I just turn this and it comes right off and no problem. That's why I hate doing car repairs, because every car repair video is like, oh, you just unbolt this, it comes off, no problem, you're good to go. And then you get out there and everything is like seized together and you spend most of your time trying to unbolt things and get things loose. Oh man. Strap wrench to the rescue. So much schmoo. So much. Oh. So I'll put that back. That's fine. There we go. Okay. Here comes the gib. Well, the good news is that it's got oil on it, so the oilers are working. It actually looks pretty good. Not bad. All right. Next. So the table is completely disconnected from the lead screw now, so it's just gliding on the saddle. I don't have room to pull the screw out from here. I think I'll try and pull the table, which is going to be interesting. I think I will just, yeah, I'll use a table saw for that. So let me get it over here a little bit. This thing is heavy. Pull the lock out. Okay. Let me, actually, you know what? Let me get the screw out of the way a little bit first. Buy myself a few extra inches of space. And then the table saw is a nice little mobile workstation top thing. I don't really want to move it. Yeah, we'll see. I'm winging it. Whew. I can already tell this is going to be really heavy. In case you were wondering. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's going to be really heavy. Yep. Spoiler alert. It's heavy. Alright, I guess it's staying right there. Oh my god. That is a lot cleaner than I was expecting. like a lot cleaner. That's weird. So not a whole lot of craziness going on in here. There's a lot of wear though. So I'm guessing, well, maybe it's just not enough oil in here. I don't know. This the front ones are worn. The back looks to be in better shape. So I don't know what that's about. My wrists are burning. My forearms. Oh. Oh, my arms. How long is this nut? There we go. Oh, maybe I'm gonna run out of space. Oh, just barely snuck it out. Let's take a quick look at the wipers. Interesting. It's actually missing the right side. Huh. Well, that's not helpful, is it? Good thing I got replacements. So before I can pull the nut, I need to pull the screw out of the Y-axis, and a couple of things here. So first off, I just went and had dinner, and I pulled the plunger on the oiler, and all of these grooves are full of oil now. So I know at least the lines are still working. They're not full of crap. So oil is getting from the oiler into these areas, which is good. The other thing I think I'm going to play around with real quick is I'm going to plug in this power feed and see if anything happens with this one. I don't see any fuses anywhere to change, just the brushes down here. There's a reset switch. Yeah, nothing's really happening here. Alright, so we'll pull this guy off too and mess around with it on the bench, and maybe we can figure out what's wrong with it. Yeah, I don't really see anything else I can really play with at this point. And back here, I'll just disconnect the stop for that power feed so we can get that wire out of the way. There we go. So this is just a stopper on here, so it's got a little switch on each side and it hits some stops on here that you can adjust to limit the actual travel of that feed. So now I can pull the Y-axis lead screw out of here. This is reverse threads. And while I'm turning this thing, you can see the serial number of the machine is right there. A lot of people ask me how old this machine is. If you have a serial number for the machine, you can look it up online. And this serial number corresponds to a 1983 date of manufacture. So this bad boy has got 4 years on me. Hello there. Oily. That's good. Couple quick things to remove. There is the Y-axis lock lever thing. And then I'm going to pull the gib out of the Y-axis as well. There it is. Probably should be wearing gloves, but oh well. Oh, greasy hands it is. Oil line first. there's a nut holder block thing. So I think for removing the saddle, I'm going to do is actually remove it all with the oil lines attached, so I can remove the manifold tube over here. And then the only other tubes I need to pull are the ones here for the nut holder block thing. So I'm actually going to pull these two lines so I can get this block off of here. And we can take a look at the nuts in a second. Okay, I'll set this mess aside. So we'll see how much of a mess this makes. And before I forget, on this side, I have this bracket here for the DRO, which also needs to come off. So now in theory, this will just slide right off. I'll see how heavy this is. Oh yeah, that's pretty heavy. Whew. And the last major thing I'll be pulling off this machine is going to be these covers, which will let us get down to the knee. Let's see what's going on in there. Yeah, that's gross. It's like really gross. So yeah, lots of shavings and junk trapped down in here. But from this perspective, you can see how the knee raising thing works. So you have the handle, which goes into this gear set here, and that allows the whole thing to crank up on that Acme thread under here. And then down in here, that shaft there, that is the lock mechanism. So the knee lock is right here, and that connects this lever all the way down to the back of the knee, which will lock it, keep it from moving at all. So yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting. There's a lot of junk and stuff in here. So I'm gonna get to cleaning out the inside of the knee. I am not gonna pull the knee off because that is that's heavy, awkward, and probably not all that needed for this little bit of cleaning that I'm doing. I'm also going to pull this power feed stop mechanism thing off of here, so at least it's out of the way. So while I'm letting that soak for a bit, I actually have a lot of things to actually clean versus, actually taking things apart. So I think I'm gonna start working through the actual cleaning process. Let's grab this guy and pull the nuts out of here. Get that guy on his way, I guess. Gross. So normally this screw here, the big one, is the adjustment to take the backlash out. That adjusts the nut. Or the fit of the nut around the lead screw at least. There we go. So as this bolt is compressing on here, it's pinching it together, which moves those threads closer together, which pulls out the backlash in the screw. Now I did order replacements for these before I started just because they're cheap, so I will just put those in later. Let me get the other nut out of this side, and I'll put this whole part into the wash. There, that's a little easier. That's probably more or less how it's supposed to be. There. Alright, so while I'm cleaning things, here's the before of the knee covers. Ugh, those are gross. So while the parts washer is doing its thing, I think I'm going to see if I can get this table outside so I can just pressure wash it and be done with it, because it is just so full of all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to see if I can get this thing close enough to the door that I can snatch it with the mini skid steer. Should be fun. So I'm thinking I'm going to wrap this video up pretty soon, because I'm starting to go down the path of maybe I should do some other things. So I'm considering pulling the knee off, and if I'm going to pull the knee off to clean it, I might as well pull the head off and paint the entire base and everything else, because it's all taken apart, which is the paint job that I wanted in my dreams and in my heart. Before we do that, before I end this one, I think I'm going to take apart this power feed to see if I can figure out what might be wrong with it. I am seriously considering ordering new lead screws for this thing, because taking these things out of there, you can really see the wear in the thickness of the threads. So the Y-axis actually has a ton of wear in the middle. I think whatever this thing was set up for, they only used the Y-axis, because this has a lot more wear than the X-axis. And it only had a Y-axis DRO, so I don't really know what task or process that would be, but that's what they're probably doing with it. So anyway, since I might order these, I might as well open this thing up and see if I can figure out what parts I might need for this thing, so I can order parts all at once. So let's dive into the fancy power feed here. So yeah, that's exploded. I guess that's pretty consistent with what I was told. This thing got too much voltage. It got 220 instead of 120, and that makes sense. So I got to figure out what exactly this component was, so I can hopefully find a schematic or something, or a wiring diagram or something for this board, and just order a new one of whatever this used to be. So for fun, I pulled this one apart as well, and have the same problem there. So inrush current, too much. So I think this one, unless it's the same as that one over there, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I got a few things to order, I guess. So now, in the interest of diagnostics, I guess, I think I'm going to actually bridge this with this little jumper and take this out of the circuit. This varistor is basically acting as a filter, so it's protecting against any kind of overcurrent, which it did its job. So in theory, if I jump the 2 points on the board, essentially bypassing that component, it would provide power back to the rest of the board. Just I wouldn't have that safety net of a filter. But for a quick test to see if that is really the only issue, this should work out all right, in theory. Okay, I feel like I should be wearing my Electro Boom shirt. All right, I gotta put a new fuse in it anyway. Power. All right, here we go. I'm gonna stay on this side. Didn't explode. Okay, so we are making progress then. No explosion this time. However, still no movement. So I got some more diagnostics to do, I guess. Oh, wait, does this have to do something? No. Okay. Well, one less problem, I guess. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to figure out what's wrong with the actual boards or if I'll have to end up buying a new one. I'm not too worried about it at this point. It's going to be something fun to tinker with for a bit. I haven't tinkered with electronics for a while, so it's kind of nice to sit and think and play around with it, and maybe it ends up getting fixed and maybe it doesn't, but at least I had some fun playing around with stuff. It's been a while since I've done any of that. I really cut my teeth on electronics like that back in mid-2000s when I fixed and repaired and modified Xboxes a lot. So it's been a little while, but I miss it a little bit. So that's going to do it for this one. Next time we'll keep on going. We're going to get this knee off of here and get the head off and all this taken apart and start on doing some painting. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the Bridgeport or anything here in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As well as I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.